Hello and welcome to the recap, where we look back at all the action that has happened across the world in football this past weekend. And before we get into that video, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours, and that you're following us on Twitter and on Instagram for all the latest news and stories from around the world of women's football as and when it happens. So today we start looking at back the North London derby that took place at the Emirates Stadium on Saturday in front of a new WSL record attendance of 47,000 fans at the Emirates Stadium, which is absolutely fantastic to see. And the previous best was Tottenham, who had just over 38,000 a couple years back. So congratulations to Arsenal and all involved in getting this new WSL record attendance in viewing. And now for me, this game, looking back at it, it was really easy for Arsenal in the end. We had so much joy down their left hand side, so whether it be Steph Catley, Beth Mead, Katie McCabe, or occasionally Caitlin Ford when she would switch over to that left hand side. It was just too easy for Side side down that left hand side, because Spurs played with three at the back of Shalina Zadorsky, Molly Bartrip and Amy Turner, so with Turner being on the right side of the back three, but she wasn't getting help from Celine Bizet, who was in front of her, so it just made it easier of two or three Arsenal players overloading that left hand side and putting all the pressure on Amy Turner, who was playing only her second competitive game for Tottenham Hotspur after her summer move back to England. So it was quite hard for her to try and deal with all 2-3 players at once, and that's what made it easy for Arsenal in the end, getting that 4-0 victory. Once again, Beth Mead getting on the score sheet, continuing her fantastic form. Then VIVIANNE MIEDEMA scoring just before half time. Raffaele continuing another solid week at the back by scoring this weekend from a header. Again, if we're talking about that goal as well, corner comes in totally unmarked, easy header for Raffaele for her first goal of this season. And then with Miedema's second as well, again, quick corner taken, Steph Catley whips in across, Miedema has time to run from about the penalty spot to just inside the 6-yard box, totally unmarked again, and that made it 4-0. So that is something that Rhiannon Skinner's side need to work on, not just coming up against the bigger teams that they're going to be facing, but against everyone else in the league. You can't be conceding goals from set pieces like that when you aren't doing your defensive duties properly, because you can't allow a player like VIVIANNE Miedema all the time and space you want in the world to get that goal, and it's going to be very easy for Arsenal to do that if teams aren't defending them properly. And overall easy win for Arsenal, and I think Kim Little might not get as much recognition as she deserves, but it was absolutely phenomenal for Unisadov's side in that game. Absolute masterclass in midfield as usual from Kim Little. Now obviously those who are Arsenal fans or watch Arsenal regularly in the league will know of Little's quality, and once again it was absolutely phenomenal there. Then have a look at to the big games that took place on Sunday. First we'll head to Kings Meadow, where Chelsea played Manchester City. Both sides were looking for their first 3 points of the season after a disappointing loss last week, and it was Chelsea again who got the 3 points by having a lot of free time and space on that left hand side, with Fran Kirby and Lauren James putting in a lot of overworking on Kirsten Kashbarai and Steph Horton throughout the 90 minutes, and it was just too easy for them. I think one negative from that for Chelsea that game was they weren't clinical enough in creating their chances, only winning 2-0 when it really should have been about 3 or 4, if not more. It was just really strange to see them not be more clinical than we have seen them in the past, but that is their only downfall, was that. Otherwise it was a fantastic game for Lauren James and Fran Kirby, who just absolutely ran the show. And I think if we look at Manchester City, there is going to be some defensive changes I would expect throughout the season. Kirsten Kasparai came into the team this weekend for her first start since her summer move from the Netherlands, and then Steph Horton just really hasn't got going the 2 games so far this season, making mistakes that are un-Steph Horton-like, and it's going to be very interesting to see how long does Gareth Taylor stick with Horton and this back four of Greenwood, Wahhabi and Kashbarite as well before making some changes in the near future, because if they're conceding goals like they did and giving the balls away, there are going to be times where strikers are more reactive and more clinical and be punishing Manchester City, and they can't be allowing that for teams like Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur and even Aston Villa this season, who are on to a fantastic start if they are wanting to keep their Champions League place. And then the final big game we'll go into talking about is the Merseyside derby that took place at Anfield in front of 27,000 fans, an absolutely fantastic thing to see. Everton picked up the 3 points, winning 3-0, and what a performance it was by Jessica Parker. The 20-year-old absolutely ran the show and got Brian Sorensen his first win as Everton manager. Again, a comfortable game for Everton. Liverpool didn't really threaten Courtney Brosnan's goal too much, and it made it really easy for Everton, and they looked like they could have gone on and scored 6-7 goals. They were just so good. But yeah, Jess Park was absolutely fantastic, and then especially for the third goal that was scored by Hannah Benenson. Gio Queiroz on her second start for Everton after a loan move from Arsenal closes down the Liverpool back line. They get the ball, Jess Park finds Benenson, slots it home, 3-0, and all 3 points go back across the opposite side of Anfield Park. So a fantastic win there for Everton to pick up the 3 points in that game. And in the other three games, Manchester United won 2-0 against West Ham United, with Lucia Garcia scoring her first goal for Manchester United, and then Hannah Blundell also getting her first goal for Mark Skinner's side. Like I said, Aston Villa again winning, this time beating Leicester City 2-0. Once again, Rachel Daly getting an early goal, for this time from the penalty spot. And Carla Woodside are looking really good so far this season. I know it's only 2 games into the season, but 2 wins out of 2, and they look more clinical up front, so that's some very positive sides heading into the latter part of this season. And Brighton won 2-1 against Reading, with Katie Robinson scoring the winner for Hope Howell side, although Kelly Chambers' side can feel aggrieved after having a goal ruled out in that game for offside. However, if you look back at replays, it clearly wasn't offside, so that's going to be some disappointing things there for Reading. This week's end sees Conti Cup action, and we do have a game between Chelsea and West Ham in midweek, so we'll talk about that on the rundown. And obviously there's the second legs of Champions League games taking place this weekend, so we'll have a look back at them as well. Now over into Europe, and Wolfsburg beat Hoffenheim 2-1 on Saturday, with Jule Brandt and Gilles Roord scoring the goals for Tommy Stroot's side. Fantastic to see Brand get her first goal for Wolfsburg, and that's now 2 wins out of 2 for Wolfsburg. Bayern Munich got their first win of the season, beating Werder Bremen 3-0, with Jovana Damjanovic, Linda Dahlmann and Julia Jevin scoring the goals there in the Frauen Bundesliga. Over in France, and PSG left it really late to find a winner against Fleury 91 yesterday, with Kerieta to Diani scoring in the 91st minute winner there, and then Lyon won on Friday 3-1 against Montpellier, with Eugene Lasama, Lindsay Haran and Daniela van der Donk scoring the goals there. Over in Spain, and Barcelona made it 2 wins out of 2, beating Villarreal 4-1. Now, for copyright reasons, I can't show Mappy Leon's goal here, but I do highly recommend you searching it up on either Twitter, Instagram or wherever, and having a look at that free kick. Absolutely world-class free kick from Lyon to give. That was the Barcelona's first goal, so absolutely fantastic there. Elsewhere, Atletico Madrid got a 1-0 victory against Alaves, and Real Sociedad played a 2-2 draw against Real Betis, and Real Madrid had their game postponed against Grenadier Tenerife. Over in Italy, and AC Milan put 4 past Parma this past weekend, whilst Sassuolo and Juventus played a 1-1 draw, and Roma got the better of Fiorentina, winning 2-1. And then finally, over in the Netherlands, it was goals as FC Twente beat Pek Zwolle 6-0. Den Haag beat Excelsior by the same scoreline. Heerenveen and VIVIANNE played out a 2-2 draw, whilst Feyenoord beat Fortuna Sittard 1-0. Now, in the penultimate weekend over in the NWSL, there was teams confirming their playoff spots, including a first ever playoff spot for San Diego Wave FC, who will be taking place in the playoffs for the first time under manager Casey Stoney. So teams that have secured their playoffs are obviously Portland Thorns, OL Reign, Kansas City Current, San Diego Wave and the Houston Dash, and then it's just that sixth and final place left to be decided, and that can go to either North Carolina Courage, Chicago Red Stars or Angel City. And this coming weekend sees the final set of fixtures in the NWSL before the playoffs start. And finally, a bit of news. Now, obviously we don't really cover the other smaller leagues in terms of coverage, but is congratulations to Corinthians, who won a 4-1 over Internacional with an attendance of over 41,000 fans. Saw them lift up the trophy over in Brazil, and it was absolutely fantastic to see them win that. So it's not just here in England and in mainland Europe. All over the world we are seeing some fantastic attendances happening in games, which is absolutely brilliant to see. And obviously now, like I said a little bit, we've got the second leg of Champions League fixtures, so we'll find out who will be joining the likes of Barcelona and Chelsea in the group stages. And then we will also have international team news coming out throughout the week in terms of players coming up, because that is starting next week after this weekend's fixtures. If you want to read more about what is happening with the Spain national team, obviously we released a video the other day on Friday about the whole stuff. That was before the Spanish players released their own statement on the thing, so head over to our website wftalk.com for a full as of 1:45 on Monday afternoon what the report is from the Spanish side, and then we will also have other stuff coming out throughout the course of the week. And until then, like I said, make sure you like and subscribe and turn on the post notification bell so you never miss a video of ours, and make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram for all the latest news as and when it happens, and we'll be back with the recap next week. Until then, we'll see you soon.